When we think of traveling in Europe, we often think of expensive vacations that you can only do once or twice a year. But like many regions in the world, if you look carefully enough, you will find that several countries within Europe are as beautiful as France or the Netherlands, some even more beautiful, but cost half of those countries. I have decided to compile a list of the cheapest countries in Europe to visit that are both beautiful and affordable. But first, let's begin and take a look at ways we can travel in Europe cheaply with tips and tricks that I found saved me the most during my trip to Europe. So in this video, we will be covering the top 12 cheapest places to visit in Europe. And before jumping into the video, do make sure to subscribe to get updated with the latest content. Albania is a country full of surprises. It is a place where you will find stunning mountains like the Albanian Alps, rich history like the towns of Berat and Gjirokastër, and stunning beaches like the Albanian Riviera. Albania is still one of the few hidden gems in Europe that are both beautiful as well as affordable to travel in, with the food costing around $5 per meal and accommodation costing as low as $9 per night. Albania is one of the cheapest and most beautiful countries to visit in Europe. And if you are looking for a place to travel in Europe that has everything in half the price, this is the place to be. I would have listed these countries separately, but since they are rather small and you can do all three countries in a week, I have decided to combine them all into one as the Baltic states. These Baltic countries are often forgotten by most travelers who are traveling in Europe, and what they may not realize is that these Baltic countries can offer an authentic experience to the forgotten history of Europe you can't get anywhere, while also offering a fairy tale-like experience throughout its small towns and forests, all at a very affordable price. Out of all the three Baltic countries, Lithuania is the cheapest and Estonia is the most expensive, but all in all, you can expect to pay around $6 for a meal and around $14 for accommodation. This is a pretty good deal, especially if you consider how beautiful places like Vilnius, Riga, and Tallinn are. I highly recommend you visit the Baltic countries if you want a unique European experience. Poland is a country with all the facilities and development of Western Europe but costs half the price. With its colorful architectural style, incredible history, and fairy tale-like castles, Poland is one of the most beautiful countries in Europe. You can visit cities like Krakow and Warsaw, are the type of cities that perfectly blend their unique quirky features with their rich and oftentimes dark history that will make you want to stay longer and find out more. The mountains in the south like Zakopane also offer a view that rivals those mountains in the Alps in Western Europe. Poland is a country that has all of the things you would come to expect when you travel to Europe, the colonial history and the snowy mountains, and they are way cheaper than their Western counterparts. Food in Poland costs around $6 per meal and the accommodation starts at $8 per night in a hostel. If you are looking for a country with a familiar feel of Western Europe but at an affordable price, Poland is the place to be. Neighboring to the south of Poland, Slovakia is also another country that is beautiful and cheap to visit. It may not be as big or have a ton of things to do like in Poland, but its size, the culture, and the friendly people are what makes Slovakia so attractive to visit. Home to the Tatra Mountains, you can spend some time hiking in the north as well as explore the old city of Košice, where you will be able to discover many old and beautiful architectures and fortresses that rarely get any visitors. The food in Slovakia costs about $6 per meal and the accommodation costs around $17 per night. If you are looking for a less touristy and affordable country to visit, Slovakia is a great. Even though Georgia is almost at the edge of what I consider Europe, the country is still worth mentioning as it is home to many beautiful sights and hipster scenes that are unique to the country. Tbilisi, the capital city, is one fantastic creative city full of young population that craves creativity and good vibes, and the city really reflects that with many fun outlets and creative restaurants you can indulge yourself in. And Georgian food is amazing. If you have not tried it, I highly recommend you try it. They are delicious, unique, and best of all, cheap. Food in Georgia costs around $2 per meal and accommodation costs around $9 per night, which is probably as cheap as it gets in Europe. If you are looking for an adventurous country to visit in Europe, Georgia and its hipster culture and proximity to the beautiful mountains of Kazbegi in the north are some of the best places to visit in Europe. Southern Spain, or more specifically Granada, is my favorite city to explore in Spain. So much so that I decided to skip Barcelona and Valencia and spend a week just in Granada on my first visit to Spain. From the stunning Alhambra fortress to the beautiful sunset spot I often frequented when I was in Granada at the top of Sacramont Mirador de la Vereda, there are plenty of things you can do in southern Spain. It is full of history and beautiful scenery waiting for you to discover. Unlike the rest of Spain, Granada and southern Spain are still very affordable. Cheap accommodation at only $17. Southern Spain is one of the best places to travel to if you want to experience the typical European vacation but at a much more affordable price. Traveling to Hungary invites you into a rich tapestry of history and culture. Budapest, the capital, captivates with its thermal baths, historic architecture, and the majestic Danube River. Explore the medieval charm of Buda Castle, stroll along the chain bridge, and indulge in Hungarian cuisine with dishes like goulash. Beyond Budapest, discover the scenic beauty of Lake Balaton and the historic towns of Eger and Pécs. Hungary's warm hospitality and diverse landscapes offer a unique blend of relaxation and exploration for every traveler. Not every part of Italy is expensive. The further south you go beyond Rome and the Amalfi Coast, the more budget-friendly it gets. Sicily is one of the most affordable regions in Italy with a ton of awesome places to visit, from beautiful pristine beaches to epic ruins of the Romans' past that can occupy you for days. The price of accommodations and food in Sicily is almost half the price of its northern counterparts, but it is not less beautiful in any way. In fact, I think it is even prettier and more authentic in some parts compared to the north, with places like the Valley of the Temples, the crystal clear water of Cefalù, and the diverse and bustling markets of Palermo that you can't find anywhere else but here. If you want to visit Italy on a budget, be sure to check out Sicily and see what this wonderful island has to offer. Trust me, you are going to love it, maybe even more so than the north. North Greece can also be extremely affordable to travel around, as long as you stay away from the extremely touristy and rather pricey Greek islands and stick to the northern parts of Greece like Thessaloniki and Meteora, which are amazing places to visit in their own right. In fact, I even prefer visiting places like Meteora over the often crowded islands of the Cyclades like Santorini and Mykonos because of how affordable it is to get around, not to mention the more chill and authentic vibe you get from northern Greece. Thessaloniki for me was one of the most affordable cities in Greece I visited, with a euro sandwich costing as low as €1.50, which to me was so mind-blowing considering I was in Greece. If you want to save some money on your trip but you still want to see some really cool places, be sure to spend some time and explore northern Greece. The Balkans is home to some of the most affordable places to visit in Europe, and among the best places to visit is Bosnia and Herzegovina, one of the most diverse and interesting countries in Europe, filled with untouched natural wonders and often forgotten history waiting for you to explore. With stunning old towns like Mostar and the diverse capital city of Sarajevo, it is hard not to fall in love with this wonderful country. Since the country doesn't get as many tourists as its neighbor Croatia, you can expect everything to be cheap and affordable when it comes to food and accommodations, and the best part is the food here is really, really good. The fact that you are paying almost half the price of what you would expect to pay in countries like Croatia for such quality makes it even more satisfying to visit Bosnia. If you are looking for a country in Europe that is affordable and feels drastically different from all the other countries you've been to, Bosnia and Herzegovina is the best place to be. You can go even cheaper than Bosnia in the Balkans by visiting Kosovo, one of the least traveled and most affordable countries in Europe to visit, with one of the most untouched nature, culturally rich history, and a true hidden gem which is not so easy to find nowadays in a well-trodden region like Europe. Places like Prizren and its lively capital Pristina are some of the best places to visit in the Balkans, with a ton of things to do, beautiful sights to see, and great affordable foods to try. You can expect to pay a high-quality cup of coffee for around €1.25 from cafes like Prince Coffee House, the local version of Starbucks, which I really, really love. You can eat like a king here and pay as little as €3.50 for a full-blown meat platter that would have cost €10 elsewhere. Getting around is also cheap and easy, which makes for a perfect place to backpack if you don't mind going off the beaten path. If you are looking for the cheapest places to visit in Europe, Kosovo is definitely a place you should consider. Last but not least, we have Romania, one of the most beautiful countries in the Balkans where you can find all sorts of magnificent old towns and medieval castles, as well as all the untouched forests and mountains of the mythical region of Transylvania. From the famous Dracula castle to the medieval towns of Sibiu, Sighisoara, and Brasov, there is no denying that Romania, despite its troubling history, is no less beautiful than its western counterparts like Hungary and Poland. But what makes Romania even better than these places is how easy and affordable it is to travel around the country without breaking the bank. If you like medieval castles, beautiful old towns, and delicious cuisine but you do not want to spend too much on your trip, Romania is definitely among one of the most affordable places to visit in Europe. And now as we wrap up this video, I'm already dreaming about our next destination. Make sure to stay tuned for more exciting content coming your way. Until then, happy travels! To watch more content like this, subscribe.